Today, I would like to talk to you about a specific communication medium. Imagine being somewhere by yourself and it's getting late. You have ran out of gas and you have no money. Somehow you've taken the wrong turn and you don't know where you are. People are walking all around you, giving you crazy looks. Things begin to become creepy. You panic. Then you realize you have a cell phone. You pick it up and you make that one call and you get help. Cell phones are one of the many communication mediums that millions of people use each day. Today, I would like to define the word communication medium. I would like to tell you how people use their cell phones. I would like to give you some history on the cell phones, and I would like to explain why I like to use a cell phone as my specific communication medium. Let me begin by giving you the definition for the word medium. In communication, the word medium is the method a person uses to send a message. Communication medium is the difference between reading news in a newspaper and watching it on TV. Communication medium is a process by which communication is accomplished, conveyed, or transferred from one person to another. Communication is the difference between talking on a cell phone and talking in a chat room. According to Mrs. Robertson, my communications teacher, the medium can have an impact on both the receiver and or message. Some people can listen better face to face than they could over the telephone. Right now, my medium is video. Now that you have an understanding of the communication medium, let me give you some history on the cell phone. In 1973, Martin Cooper invented the first modern cell phone. Cooper was the first man to ever make a phone call. He worked for a company called Motorola. The cell phones were different from the fancy flip phones and touchscreens of today. The cell phones back then were simple and did not have any features. After the cell phone was invented, it took 10 years for it to be commercially accepted. Then it took 37 years for it to be commercially used for the United States. The first cell phone introduced to the public was the Motorola Dynatac phone, and it cost $3,500. According to Jonathan Strictly from How Stuff Works, the cell phone was 9 inches long and weighed 2 pounds. That's pretty big. To have a cell phone back then was a luxury. Not many people could afford one. Today, cell phones are much less expensive than they were years ago, and so everyone can have one. Before there was a cell phone, people used radio telephones in their cars. Today, everyone has a cell phone, and they are not limited to the car. People can take them anywhere. Cell phones were invented because people realized the need for making phone calls when they were away from home. Cell phones were invented to be a convenient tool when making calls. A cell phone is a type of two-way radio, and a cell phone is an electronic device used to make mobile telephone calls across a wide geographic area served by many public cells, allowing the user to become mobile. Now let's talk about how people use cell phones. People use cell phones for a variety of reasons. Many people are business owners and find it profitable to always be accessible. Others use cell phones to stay socially connected with family and friends. Finally, cell phones are helpful in cases of emergency. People can carry the phone around with them at all times. According to a survey by the Pew Research Center Internet and American Life Project, 85% of Americans 18 and older own a cell phone, and 90% of all adults live in a household with at least one cell phone. People use cell phones because they are a type of communication medium and because they are convenient. The last thing I want to explain is why I choose the cell phone as a medium of communication. I use my cell phone because of the convenience. I like to talk on my cell phone. I can be anywhere doing whatever and still be able to stay in contact with people. People are always calling my house and I am never there. I am always going, running errands, or at school. So having a cell phone is good for me. I can give my cell phone number out as an alternative number. With my cell phone, I hardly miss any calls because it's always on my side. It's as if it's glued to my hand. Cell phones come in handy when there is an emergency. My car recently broke down on the side of the road. I was upset but not worried because I had my cell phone. I called someone for help, and in no time they came. I was back on the road again. Yes, it was that simple. If I had not had a cell phone, I might have sat on the side of the road for hours. I think cell phones are lifesavers. I can talk on my cell phone, send and receive text messages, and I can browse the internet if I need to do some research. I would rather have a cell phone any day over a landline phone. So let's review what I said. I gave you a definition for communication medium. I told you some history about the cell phone. I told you how many people use cell phones, and I explained why I chose a cell phone to be the medium of my communication. If you ever find yourself in a bad situation and need help, I hope you have your handy dandy cell phone. It will help you. It may save your life. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this speech. Have a good